Today we're going to look at trolley jacks along with axle stands and the basic maintenance of a trolley jack and an axle stand. The trolley jack is a hydraulic jack and it works on the principles of hydraulics, which are fluids. Fluids have a tendency to leak. So before we use a trolley jack, it's really important that we actually check for fluid leaks. And the main point where a trolley jack will leak from is from underneath. This is the hydraulic ram and the oil seal is just behind this ram. So if the jack is leaking, it will normally leak from this seal here. But any signs of a clear fluid, that is oil, you should inspect the jack fully before you use it. On top of the jack, we have a grease point that should also be done at regular intervals to lubricate this shaft. And the wheels should also be lubricated and the bearings also. And you also need to check the saddle. The saddle is the part that will lift the car and the weight rests on this piece. It should be clean, not filled with grease and oil. So in checking the saddle should have a small amount of lubricant around this area so it can actually swivel. This one does not, and it should be lubricated. Then we check the handle for operation and security. The handle itself is removable by undoing the lock screw on the back. The handle will then come out. This should also be lubricated with a small amount of grease. Sits in, do the lock nut up. So to use the trolley jack, we have to turn the handle in a clockwise direction to lock it, and then we pump the handle and the trolley jack should start to rise. To release the jack, to lower the vehicle, stand next to the vehicle, place your foot just at the side of the jack, place both hands onto the jack handle and turn the handle in an anti-clockwise direction, slowly. This will then lower the jack. It's really important to remember that when you use a trolley jack, that you have the right weight of trolley jack. And on this one, it says that it can take 2¼ tons. That is more than enough weight bearing for any of the vehicles that we have in our workshop here. But you should never exceed that weight limit on this trolley jack. These are axle stands and they are used in conjunction with our trolley jack. A car is never left supported just merely by a jack. We always use these axle stands. These are ratcheting type axle stands. You lift them up and they lock. To release them, you pull on the handle and the axle stand will drop. Now, we need to check the axle stands for damage. They must have all 4 feet resting on the ground. So if one of them is tilted up slightly, then that axle stand should not be used. Also, when pulling up the ratchet, if it drops straight away on its own and will not hold weight, then that axle stand should not be used. Both axle stands should be positioned under the vehicle at the same height. So, this is the teeth of the axle stand, and as I was saying, they need to be at the same height. So if you count the number of teeth, you will get them to the same height. Also, again, making sure that they are on level ground before you lower the vehicle onto these. It's really important. And these are, as you can see, on level ground, and all feet are resting safely on the ground. It's really important after you've used both pieces of equipment that you clean them down. Because you're going to have greasy hands, I expect, and it makes it dangerous to use if your hands are going to slip. So at the end of the task, when you've finished using it, it's just a quick wipe down with a clean rag, especially on the saddle and the rest of the jack. Just a quick wipe to make sure that it stays in good condition, and also you can inspect it for signs of damage. The same with the axle stands, just a quick wipe down and inspect for damage at the same time. Particular attention to the handle. Again. And it will be ready for you next time. Job done.